वेदर की बात करेंगे. Hello, good afternoon, dear students. As we discussed yesterday, emotional intelligence refers to an individual's ability to identify, understand, and manage their own emotions as well as the emotions of others around them. Those with high emotional intelligence also understand how their emotions can affect others and are able to harness and regulate them to ensure that they don't negatively affect their colleagues' ability to interact with one another or carry out their responsibilities. They can use this ability in the workplace to manage conflict, communicate effectively, and empathize with colleagues to improve business performance. So, students, today's topic is importance of emotional intelligence at workplace. So we will discuss about emotional intelligence at workplace. We note that the term emotional intelligence was first coined by psychologist Peter Salovey and John DeMeyer in 1990. A few years later, psychologist and science journalist Daniel Goleman wrote the book Emotional Intelligence, in which he typed the following phrase: for better or worse, intelligence can come to nothing when the emotions hold sway. With this phrase, Goldman claimed that no matter a person's level of cognitive intelligence, it can be overridden when emotions get the better of them. Emotions intelligence in the workplace is often cited as a key factor of success. In fact, a well known study showed that 90% of top performers have above average emotional intelligence. Yet, many organizations still don't prioritize searching for candidates with high level of emotional intelligence during the hiring process. Then, why is emotional intelligence in the workplace so important? Because not only do emotionally intelligent people make independent, confident, and successful employees, but they are also vital to building teams that excel and maintaining a cohesive and high performing environment. High emotional intelligence overlaps with strong interpersonal skills, especially in the areas of conflict management and communication, crucial skill in the workplace. So, employees who can self regulate their emotions are often able to avoid making impulsive decisions. They think objectively before they act, and operating with empathy, understanding in critical part of teamwork. Being able to attribute someone's behavior to an underlying emotion will help you manage relationship and make others feel heard. On an individual's level, being aware of your feelings is the first step in not letting those feelings control you, and recognizing how you feel and why will help you to sit with those feelings and then move forward in a productive way. Effective leaders are often very emotionally intelligent. In the workplace, it's important for leaders to be self aware and able to view things objectively. This translates into understanding your strengths and weakness and acting with humility. This has to be balanced with empathy. Employees who feel appreciated and valued at work are not only happier but more productive. Employees with high emotional intelligence are an asset to our organization because employees with high emotional intelligence are an asset to our organization. As more organizations begin to understand the importance of emotional intelligence, in helping them thrive, they are becoming increasingly interested in hiring people with high levels of emotional intelligence. But as we explored, emotional intelligence is not just one characteristic or trait. Since emotional intelligence encompasses a range of skills and attributes, you should create skills assessments that evaluate candidates in several key areas, just like communication skills, problem solving skills, situational judgment skills, personality and culture, etc. There are just few reasons your company needs to prioritize building teams consisting of employees with high level of emotional intelligence. Number one, emotionally intelligent employees have a huge impact in the workplace. Well known research by the American Journal of Pharmaceutical Education found that highly emotional intelligent people are better equipped to make sound decisions, create sustainable relationships, and handle continuous change. Naturally, these are traits of great leaders. Other has shown that emotional intelligence is also a strong predictor of job satisfaction and career success, and that emotionally intelligent individuals receive greater merit increase compared with those with lower level of emotional intelligence. Number two, the job market is evolving as the modern workplace becomes more dependent on technology, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Emotional intelligence will be critical to organizations' success. With the rise of high-tech workplace, organizations across all industries will soon come to recognize the importance of high touch and the need to balance digital transformation with human strengths such as empathy and self awareness. Emotionally intelligent leaders will be in high demand to help guide the future workplace, motivate a new generation of employees, and navigate the merge between technology and people. So that's number three is emotional intelligence is already a must have skill. Businesses are turning away from perfect candidates who look good on paper to applicants they can trust to be reliable, empathetic change agents. Research revealed that 74% of executives believe that emotional intelligence is becoming a must have skill. The same study shows that, in general, companies are actively trying to develop more emotionally intelligent workplace by adjusting recruitment process to evaluate candidates emotional intelligence and using technology to help create emotionally intelligent workplace cultures. And building emotionally intelligent teams can foster positive outcomes for business and employees. Like, here are some key benefits of emotional intelligence in the workplace. Number one, improved teamwork. Emotional intelligence person improved teamwork because thanks to their strong sense of self-awareness, self-regulation, and great social skills, emotionally intelligent employees are adept at working in teams and are great team players. They work with the best outcomes in mind, are open to new ways of solving problems, and are comfortable sharing in other successes. And number two is more flexible processes. Emotionally intelligent employees are highly flexible and adaptable in dynamic workplace. In workplace, they recognize when established processes are not productive the desired outcomes and are skilled at suggesting and developing new ways of doing things to get the best results. In general, Those with high levels of emotional intelligence can navigate all aspects of their work life effectively and with ease. Number three, enhanced customer experience. Excellent social skills and empathy are a winning combination when it comes to providing a great customer experience. I repeat, excellent social skills and empathy are a winning combination when it comes to providing a great experience. Emotional intelligence is a great attribute for building relationships and keeping the customer's best interest in mind, since they are able to easily put themselves in another's shoes. Emotionally intelligent people can also identify ways to improve the customer experience. And number four is healthier, more dynamic work environments. Emotionally intelligent people can communicate with others in a healthy, constructive way, which helps increase workplace productivity. They are also able to boost morale when needed, since they can read others' emotions easily, because they are able to self regulate their own feelings. They are more open to experimentation and learning too. And number five is issues and roadblocks are identified in advance, because those with a high degree of emotional intelligence are aware of what's going on around them and can spot issues before they become a problem. For example, they can notice subtle signs that a colleague is struggling or disengaged and can help them to air any complaints or issues they are having. They are also confident enough to raise issues directly with others without fear of criticism or pushback, to prevent small issues from becoming damaging later down the line. And number six is better employee retention rates. As the saying goes, people don't work for companies, they work for people. Those who work in an environment with emotionally intelligent leaders and colleagues are more likely to stay at those organizations, since they can avoid interpersonal conflicts, enjoy a healthy work life balance, and thrive in their careers. And number seven is reduced stress in workplace. Number seven is reduced stress in workplace. Since emotionally intelligent people can effectively regulate their feelings and emotions, because they are less prone to feeling stressed in the workplace. They don't let pressure build up and can communicate with the relevant people about their workplace, workloads, or any other job related issues. Their resilient nature also enables them to tolerate stress better, which gives them more space to carry out their responsibilities without hindrance, without stress, etc. And number eight is better workplace communication. In emotionally intelligent workplace, there's no room snarky emails or snide comments. Emotionally intelligent employees can see miscommunication for what they are and view things from other perspectives. When issues arise, they are able to craft healthy and productive responses rather than vent their frustrations in an uncontrolled way. And we are talking about how do you measure or test emotional intelligence, how we can measure our emotional intelligence. So, an IQ test can assess an applicant's cognitive abilities and provides you with a score that indicates their intellectual potential. But can you really measure a candidate's emotional intelligence? Although EQ tests do exist, Many people claim that emotional intelligence cannot be tested or measured due to a lack of global standardization. Plus, just as application can lie on their resumes, they can also fake EQ self-assessment by providing response that think employers will favor rather than answer that reflect their real emotional intelligence. Finally, it's often difficult for hiring teams without experience in evaluating candidates' emotional intelligence to know how to interpret the result of EQ test. Fortunately, you can improve your emotional intelligence skills with some thoughtfulness and practices. First is try to slow down your reactions to emotions. Next time you feel angry, try to sit with it before lashing out. Why are you angry? Did someone upset you? What do you think was the emotion underneath their behavior? Think about your strengths and work and weaknesses. No one is enough and good at everything, and that's okay. Know yourself and when to ask for or offer help. Put in the effort to understand that people are communicating non-verbally. If you ask someone to help you on a project and they agree but sound hesitant, recognize that they may feel overwhelmed or confused or they come from a different background and understanding than your own. It's important to validate and address that before moving forward. And the last is work on communicating effectively and openly. Make sure your main point is clear. Cut out information that is not relevant to the person you are talking with and give your full attention when someone else is speaking. And the most important point is how to hire for emotional intelligence. That is the important things and how we hire for emotional intelligence persons. Since IQ tests are not highly reliable or accurate method of evaluating emotional intelligence, how do you hire for emotional intelligence? Building an emotionally intelligent workplace begins with making the commitment to hiring emotionally intelligent people into your hiring processes. Below, we go through the steps you should take to make emotional intelligence at work a reality. Number one, commit to hiring for emotional intelligence. First thing first, if you want to build an emotionally intelligent workplace, you need to commit to knowing how to hire candidates with high levels of emotional intelligence. Traditional hiring process rely heavily on resume screening and evaluating applicants, education and work experience, etc. However, it's impossible to judge someone's emotional intelligence by scanning a one or two page document. So when you are defining your candidate personas, make sure that emotional intelligence is priority criteria before you start taking application from candidates. Number two is the most important things. Learn to evaluate emotional intelligence indicators during the interview process. But how can we learn? Asking questions that help you assess a candidate's emotional intelligence in the interview process is crucial. Traditional interview process make it difficult to gauge applicants' soft skills, so make sure to create standardized interview questions that can help you evaluate how emotionally intelligent candidates are. Skip questions that ask applicants to list their strengths and weaknesses. Instead, ask questions about that prompt candidate to tell a story that shows their level of emotional intelligence. Better still, Include some of the following question in your interviews. As for example, you can ask, "Can you tell me about your toughest day at work? What went wrong and how you handled it?" And you can ask also, "Can you describe a time when you were given critical feedback?" Further, you can ask, "Can you tell me about a time when you clashed with your colleagues? What was the outcome? And what makes you happy at work?" Similarly, you can ask, "How do you deal with changes at work that you don't agree with?" Further, how do you build relationships with colleagues? And what's your greatest motivation at work? Further, you can ask something like, when you encounter colleagues who are difficult to communicate with, how do you handle the situation? And you can also ask that, how do you handle stressful situation in the workplace? It's a very common question. Can you give me an example? Then, and one more questions you can ask that, what's the biggest mistakes you have made at work? What happened and what was the outcome? That these are some questions you can ask in your interview for selecting candidates. Uh, Next topic we will discuss about, look out for candidates who ask great questions. Once you have asked applicants some of these questions, make a note of those who are eager to ask thoughtful questions. Candidates who ask good questions about your company's values, and working methods likely have great critical thinking skills, which are key to emotional intelligence. So that we can apply these questions are something we will discuss about some questions, etc. And something, etc. We can ask that, and so more questions, healthier, more dynamic work environments, etc. What should we do for healthier or more dynamic work environments? We can talk about some things news, just as we, motivated business professionals are looking for every age to be successful in the workplace. Naturally, many develop expertise in technical or task oriented skills in order to enhance their careers. However, those who have a high level of awareness and control over their emotions and use their emotions to connect with others and develop positive relationship will find even greater success in the workplace. This soft skill is known as emotional intelligence, and it is an essential element in the business world, especially in high stress environments. If you are unable to control your emotions, they can preoccupy your thoughts and interfere with your ability to evaluate a situation objectively. On the contrary, knowing what triggers your emotional responses and understanding how to exercise self control over them enables you to comfort difficult issues and manage change with clarity with and composure. Our module is designed to provide you with the knowledge and tools to develop your emotional intelligence. You will learn how to avoid self-saboting outcomes by altering how you perceive and respond to emotionally charged situation. In addition, you will improve your ability to resolve conflict constructively, create a productive work environment, build and mend relationships, and bounce back from setback and disappointment. No doubt, emotional intelligence is more rare than book smarts, but actually more important in the making of leader. You just can't ignore it. In business case, an in-depth analysis of three and some studies I will discuss it with you. One is analysis of 302 managers conducted by the Center for Creative Leadership found that higher level of emotional intelligence are associated with better performance in the following areas, which are self-awareness, putting people at ease, straightforwardness and composure, building and mending relationship, confronting problem employees, and change management. And the second study conducted at the Virginia Commonwealth University School of Business found that emotional intelligence is a strong predictor of job performance. The research found that emotional intelligence may be especially important in the service sector and other jobs where employees interact with customers. These examples are just a few of the many studies that demonstrate the positive impact that emotional intelligence has in workplace. Uh, we can discuss about some aspect of emotional intelligence because these are important factors. We know that emotional intelligence has been described in many different ways over the years, but it has always had two common components. First is self awareness, and second is social awareness. We have split the program into four components based on these two components. Number one is intrapersonal skills, because self awareness is the ability to recognize your emotions as they occur. This skill helps you gain self control in emotional situation. And the second is interpersonal skills. Social awareness is the ability to recognize others. We know that others' emotions, and showing empathy enables you to have more positive relationship and minimize unproductive conflict. Third is adaptability. Adaptability is the flexibility, is the ability to adapt to changing conditions. This enables you to problem solve more effectively as well as manage your stress more productively. And the last is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. Having resilience increases your self confidence and allows you to maintain a positive perspective even in the face of negative events or attitudes. Now we are talking about self awareness in large form. So we can say that a program on emotional intelligence has to start with building in awareness of your own emotions. Not only recognize what you are feeling, but why you are feeling it. That's important things. You need to be able to do this in the moment, not afterwards. Take a moment to think about how you are feeling right now. Name the emotions and consider why you might be feeling it. Get in the habit of taking a moment in any situation to gauge your feelings before acting or making a decision. Connecting thoughts and emotions. Do you agree the quotes of William Shakespeare, the Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2, if you remember that, he said that there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. I remember it. The thoughts drive feelings. Thoughts is amazing, very important thing, sir, for us. It's can build or remove, destroy us. Thoughts. What situation cause fear? Jealousy, excitement, Chances are, if you ask your coworkers, they would all answer differently. What does that mean? That it is the meaning you assign to the situation, not the situation itself, that causes your feelings. A classic work example is giving a presentation. That situation causes some people to feel fear and others excitement based on the personal interpretation. It can take practice to get used to the idea that your own interpretation drives your emotions. For example, how many times have you thought he makes me so mad? You are certain the person's behavior is the cause of your anger. However, if you found another explanation for his behavior, you might not feel angry at all. You can probably think of a time when you have been mistaken or changed your thoughts about a situation which in turn your feelings. Making judgment about your emotions. Once you get in habit of identifying your emotions and the thoughts behind them, you need to decide if your thoughts and feelings are reasonable. Use the reasonable person standard defined by the Free Dictionary as a legal standard referring to a hypothetical person in society who exercise average care, skill, and judgment in conduct. So it reflects how a typical person should have behave in particular situation. Your goal is to prevent emotional hijacking. Emotional hijacking is a variation of amygdala hijacking, a term coined by Daniel Goleman in his book 1996, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ, something. Uh, Emotions are a natural human response. It does mean that the thoughts that led you to feel that particular emotion may be irrational and what's you want to monitor and adjust. Self control. Now we are talking about self control. Another important way to recognize your emotions and take time before you act is to identify your physical cues associated with particular emotions. It is the most important factor. Recognize the signals that occur as emotions arise can help you avoid being emotionally hijacked. Okay, a classic example of managing your emotions is when you are in heated discussion with someone and the phone rings. You probably answer the call in a pleasant tone of voice, unrelated to the feelings you were just experiencing. We can recognize our physical cues. Typically, physiological changes associated with unpleasant emotions such as anger, fear, and frustrations are these are increased heart rate, very common, very common symptoms, very common signs or cues. These negative emotions increased our heart rate, butterflies in stomach, and flushed skin, tense muscles, sweating, voice rising, getting louder or more intense. Something you can we can see. So, preventional emotional hijacking. How can prevent them? An emotional hijacking may hinder you from choosing an effective response, action, or decision. To prevent this, you must take some time to recognize the cues that your emotions are taking over. Like, take a deep breath, silently count to 10. It's old, it's an oldie, but goodie. So you can try it. Train yourself to use a gesture to remind yourself to pause and breathe. For example, when you feel your emotions rising, tap your leg. And you can also try close your eyes and visualize a scene that is pleasant and claiming to you. Quick visualizations combined with deep breathing will go a long way toward giving you time to catch up with your emotions and consciously decide how to respond in a particular situation. You can ask some questions about accurate statement about your emotions. For example, you can ask how others behave triggers your emotions, and once it begins, you cannot stop being emotionally hijacked. And you can ask your interpretation of a situation, not the situation itself, causes your feelings, and all emotions are irrational. So these are some uh, common examples, yeah, some questions when we can ask about us. Oh, how can increase our empathy? We will discuss yesterday about empathy. Empathy is a core concept of emotional intelligence, core component. So we will talk about empathy again. In addition to recognize and managing your own emotions, another goal of emotional intelligence is to develop more positive relationships with others at work. One of the primary ways to do that is to increase your empathy. Connecting with another person on an emotional level allows you to develop a meaningful, trusting relationship. The definition of empathy is the ability to recognize the emotions that another person is experiencing. It is the ability to walk a mile in another person's shoes. We will discuss study also. Get in the habit of consciously tuning in to others' emotions. Then the question is how to recognize others' emotions. How we can recognize others' emotions? So we can follow up some point like get to know the other person. One time observation is not as likely to be as accurate as observation made over time. Pay special attention to the upper part of the face. According to Calin Prodan, a professor of neurology at the University of Okama Health Science Center, primary or true emotions are expected and uh, I think primary or true emotions are expressed in the upper half of the face. So how can increase our empathy? So, so ask your feedback. Find out whether your perceptions are correct. For example, it sounds like you are worried about the upcoming budget review. Is that how you are feeling? Be expressive yourself. It's an important thing. Be expressive yourself. People are more likely to let their guard down and share their true emotions if you are willing to disclose your own. How to demonstrate empathy? It's also an important thing. Follow these tips to proactively show others that you care about them. Don't offer advice. We we know that we do that very commonly. So don't offer advice. Judge them or tell them they should not be feeling what they are feeling. You don't necessarily have to agree or fully understand their situation to be empathetic. Listen. Listen Ask open-ended questions that allow the other persons to talk. Respond without judging. Validate their feelings as real to them, even if they don't make sense to you. Use words and gestures to show you care. Make eye contact, smile or nod, give a light touch, or perhaps a hug if appropriate. Finally, ask if there is anything you can do to help. Offer advice only if they ask for it. Remember, offer advice only if they ask for it, not. So, empathy in actions. Some common topic is common point like listen to the customer in the workplace setting, professional setting. We should listen actively. Yesterday also we discussed about it and acknowledge their complaint. Take action by solving the problem. Thank them. Explain why the problem occurred. And connecting and communicating. Improve your interaction with others by tuning into their thoughts, feelings, and needs. Meet them where they are. If other person is communicating at just the facts level, start there as well. They probably are not ready to disclose information that would make them feel vulnerable. Once you have connected with them at their level, use self disclosure and open ended question to seek out their feelings and needs. And if they are already sharing their thoughts and feelings, be receptive and accepting, not judgmental and critical. Watch for non-verbal cues that communicate emotions, facial expression, eye contact, body language, and gestures. Tone of voice, volume, pace, etc. It's a very important things. If you have negative or unpleasant information to share, prepare them for it instead of surprising them. So I think it's enough for today. Uh, Tomorrow we will meet again and also discuss for further emotional intelligence and something, etc. So, dear student, goodbye for today. We will meet tomorrow again. Thank you so much.